Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. We welcome you into today's edition of The Lunch Break. Chris Schubert here with you for the next 2 hours, KDUS AM 1060. The baseball winter meetings, the baseball offseason continues to heat up. We await news on Kevin Durant being reevaluated today. I don't know if we will get that information during the show. If we do, we will react to it in due time. We have to talk about those Phoenix Suns. Our first look at the New England Patriots. A lot for us to get to here today on the program. I was driving in today thinking about the Phoenix Suns, who are off until Friday when they take on the Utah Jazz, and we are awaiting that news for Kevin Durant's reevaluation of his ankle injury to see if he will return on Friday. There is some optimism that that will be the case, but we're going to wait until we get the final word that he is returning to the lineup. And I was driving in today, and I was trying to put my finger on what this team reminds me of, what this team makes me feel like. And it's an obscure comparison I'm going to make. It is an obscure reference. You're going to have to join me on the journey, but that is today's Daily Special.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Now, I have producer Dylan in studio today. Producer Dylan, younger than me. This might not land the analogy with him the way I think it will land with a lot of you. We'll see. I'll get the thumbs up or the thumbs down. He will tell me if I'm off base here. The 2024-2025 Phoenix Suns remind me of a television show. And they remind me of a very specific television show. Because it is a television show that you look at and you need to see who is going to appear on that show to see if you are interested in the Phoenix Suns. Because we've laid the case out to you. This team, it's Kevin Durant healthy, or you know what it's going to look like. Not worth it. Not really worth the investment. Not really worth the time. It doesn't look great when Kevin Durant is in there. So Kevin Durant has to be healthy and on this team playing for me to get excited about Suns basketball. Well, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the current version, a modern-day 2024 era Saturday Night Live. That is what the 2024-25 Phoenix Suns are. They are Saturday Night Live. You don't watch Saturday Night Live the way that you used to when Will Ferrell was on there and Adam Sandler was on there and all the comedians. Chris Farley, we just go on and on, just naming all the great, funny people that have been on Saturday Night Live over the years. You would stop everything you're doing. It's Saturday night. I've got to watch SNL. I've got to see what's going on. They have the pulse of the world. Saturday Night Live no longer has that cultural draw. What it does have is viral moments that pop off in one-offs. A guy named Domingo. Some quick-humored thing that they say on the Weekend Update. And they go viral in small little doses. That's the Phoenix Suns. When Kevin Durant is healthy, that's like SNL having a really cool guest star or guest comedian that you're going to go out of your way to see the opening monologue. You're going to make sure I got to see what Bill Burr says tonight because he's the guest star on Saturday Night Live. Or Adam Sandler's coming back. I got to see that. That's Kevin Durant's availability in the Suns lineup. When he's not, it's your normal, average, run-of-the-mill Saturday Night Live episode that may have a moment here or there that pops off, that may have a viral video, a cool moment from Devin Booker or Bradley Beal. But there is nothing worth sitting down and devoting hours of your day or evening to consume Suns basketball. That's what they are. Kevin Durant is the old school comedian or the really cool guest star, and the rest of the Phoenix Suns is your current SNL cast. There's probably a large portion of you listening to this show that can't name more than 2 members of the current SNL cast. You can't do it. They're kind of funny. They can maybe put together a compelling skit if it's written correctly, but more often than not, it's kind of a dud, right? And after a while, you kind of give the new cast a chance, but after a while you go, you know what? This isn't worth my time anymore. I'm not going to stay up late on Saturday to watch this. I'll do something else with my time. I'll read a book. I'll binge a TV show on Netflix. I'll do something else. That's how I feel about this current version of the Phoenix Suns. If Kevin Durant is not in the lineup, if Kevin Durant is not available to play for the Phoenix Suns, I ask legitimately the question, why bother? We have a 10-game sample size of Kevin Durant not being in the lineup for the Suns. They are 1-9 in those games. So I hope later on today we learn the news. We learn the information that Kevin Durant is returning to the lineup on Friday when they take on the Jazz. Because it would be like getting that announcement that Larry David or Adam Sandler or some cool, hip comedian that everybody knows about, Sebastian Maniscalco, that's probably a big comedian name I can throw out here, that those people are going to be on SNL and you want to go out of your way to see it. SNL was an institution. SNL, you did everything possible to clear the way. This Suns team was supposed to be an institution. They are supposed to be championship caliber. We're going to get into that a little bit later on here in the show because around the NBA, they might not be as championship caliber in one area than we thought they were. That's coming up in hour number 2 of the program. But this was supposed to be the standard in basketball. This was a team that was supposed to be at the top of the Western Conference, just like SNL was at the top of television. And now, it's just kind of in the background. It goes viral every once in a while. Every so often you check in, you go, oh, that's cool. Oh, the Suns did that. Oh, SNL, that's funny. That's what the Phoenix Suns have been reduced down to this season. Now, unlike Saturday Night Live, to continue this analogy, they have the ability, as long as Kevin Durant is healthy, to go on a run like SNL went on. Because we saw how good it looked when everybody was healthy and everybody was available in the lineup. A 9-1 start. I would compare that to peak SNL. You drop everything you're doing to watch that Suns team play because that Suns team, that group, can win the Western Conference. That group can compete for a championship. That group is worth investing your time, your energy, your money into. This version, they haven't given you a reason to do that. They have not given you a reason to clear your schedule to sit down and watch 2-3 hours worth of basketball multiple times a week. They have not deserved you to spend your money to go see them. They haven't earned that because they are showing the same warts that they had a year ago. They are showing the same flaws and faults that they had a year ago. And these weren't flaws or faults that nobody could see coming. We very clearly understood when this team signed up to run it back. And by run it back, I mean keeping Kevin Durant, keeping Bradley Beal, and keeping Devin Booker. Keeping the big three and running it back with them as the centerpiece of your team. This was always on the table. And so, yes, Kevin Durant might only miss 3 games, and he might return to this team on Friday. But that would be 10 games already that he has missed this season. And I am not going to sell to you, the listener of this show, the idea that those are the only 10 games that Kevin Durant is going to miss this season. Because the money says that that's not going to be the case. The probability, the history tells us that that's probably not going to be the case. So this is going to be a conversation that we are going to be dumped back into. I don't know if it's going to be immediately. I don't know if it's going to be in 2 weeks, in a month, 2 months, but I forecast, this is going to be one of the best predictions I ever made here on this show because I'm not really going out on a limb here. This is not a big, bold prediction to start the show. I think the SNL thing was my big, bold start to the show. Kevin Durant's going to miss more time this season. Bradley Beal is going to miss more time this season. I don't trust this team to navigate that. They have not earned that trust. They have not earned that investment. And so I don't blame you if you're checked out on this team. We said on Friday, we're done. We are done with this team. Today, we find out if they are going to be able to, on Friday, start to get things back on track, or if it's going to be another week. And if it is another week, just like SNL, take that remote, turn it to something else. Because they have not earned They have not warranted you to sit down and devote and dedicate your time to this team. Not where I wanted to start the show today. Didn't want to be negative, but you've got a Cardinal team that blew 3 in a row, and their playoff hopes are basically dashed. You got a Suns team that is spiraling out of control, and just driving in today, for whatever reason, SNL popped into my head, and it all kind of clicked. The puzzle just kind of fit together perfectly. And so that is where we start here today. We await to see the news on Kevin Durant. We will obviously update you the moment that we hear anything on Kevin Durant's reevaluation that is supposed to take place today ahead of their game on Friday against the Jazz. That is when they will return to action. There is some growing optimism that Kevin Durant will be available for that game, but until we get official word from the team, I think it's safe to just kind of put that on pause and wait to see what happens.